How's everyone doing, folks? We're back on Cape Ann today. We have two special guests with us, Lily Narbonne and Justin Genna. They are with Lanes Coven, a new theater group set right here in Cape Ann. How you both doing?
Great.
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for being with us. Okay, right off the top, please explain Lanes Coven and how this all came about.
Yeah.
It came about because we were living in Gloucester and because of the shutdown, and we had already produced theater in 2019 in downtown. And we wanted to build something, right? We're actors in New York, but we were like, where can we affect people? Where can we create a theater that we're proud of and that our friends can be part of? So we made a company. We're in Lanes Cove. So we were like, all we have to do is add an N to it. And that's our company name.
Yeah, don't worry. It's not a coven of witches. We're not into any satanic weird stuff. We just kind of like the word, and we kind of thought of a coven as a group of people getting together outside in the woods and convening around art.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So I want to back up and say and ask about, you are New York artists living in Gloucester. How's that work out?
Well, we're very lucky in that we have rent stabilized apartment in New York City. So we sort of go back and forth all through the shutdown of COVID. We were full-time in Gloucester, but we go back and forth to take care of our plants and I guess
Okay.
for people in New York.
All behind us.
Yeah.
Lily's parents live in Lanes Cove as well. So
Okay.
we've been visiting and staying with them.
And buying a house.
Yeah, and we're in the process of buying a house in Lanes Cove as well. So we're putting down roots, but we're kind of keeping our New York apartment because you can't get an apartment this cheap anymore. It's so worth it to keep it.
Okay. We won't go there anymore. So tell us who is in your troupe. Do you have your New York people? Do you have Gloucester people? Tell us.
We have our Gloucester people. They are the McNamara's. So Michael McNamara and Max McNamara, who is his son. And Max is technically the oldest friend of my lifetime. We were in our mom's bellies at the same exact time. And and we with them produced Mauritius Downtown with Michael's company, Fishtown Players, back in November 2019. And that was such a blast. And we were like, okay, we need to do more of this. And also I've seen Michael in plays my whole life. And then our New York troupe.
We have our class, we went to American Conservatory Theater for MFA.
In San Francisco.
And we had a class of 12 actors who most of them all moved to New York after graduating. So we have a company of about 12 professional actors who are just biting at the bit to do work. So we have half a company of people from Gloucester, including us, and half people, company of New York actors. And we're going to combine the forces together this summer for Taming of the Shrew.
Nice.
And where would this take place and how? I mean, there has to be all these challenges in the pandemic to collaborate. So how is this all going to come about?
Oh, yeah. Well, it will come about with, of course, only if the city is allowing public gathering, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it will be on a private space, which is my aunt's backyard of 6 Andrews Street, which is the Lanes Cove house. So it's a rental and her home, and it looks directly at, the opening of the Cove wall. It's a long yard.
And so we're going to be building an outdoor theater space with a stage and lights,
temporary,
and portable bathrooms, and hopefully we get a food truck there for a couple of the performances. And people will be able to come and enjoy the show and socially distance in the crowd.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can keep everybody on stage socially distance if that's what needs be. But we'll be complying with all the city and state regulations as we go forward. And we don't see that being too much of a problem because in the space, we have so much space outside. We feel like we can be flexible for all the regulations.
And there is precedent for something like this because Cape Ann Symphony did something similar last summer. Or was it literally in somebody's backyard? Yeah, you were there.
I was there. Yeah. No, it ended up having to be canceled because it rained. but
Perfect. Yeah. That was good.
but we were all
Well-
beautifully socially distanced around a pool, and the symphony was on the other side of the pool, and we
Lovely.
yeah, no. And it sounds as if you'll have more of a schedule. They only had one performance, but
Right. We're gonna have 9 performances. So we'll be able to accommodate people if any days get rained out.
Yeah.
We'll be able to put them get them a seat for the next day. And hopefully we're gonna have, because we plan on having about 50 seats for people, 50 to 55 seats for audience members, but we want to build a space in front of the seats where people can bring like their blanket and have a picnic and do a little BYOB happy hour during the show. So we definitely can accommodate more than 50 people if, you know, we're allowed to because
Right.
of COVID regulations.
But the temporary stage deck will be big, and these are great, you know, theater actors who are trained for like plus 1,000-seat theaters, you know, so
Yeah.
they can really project and share to an audience if they're distanced, you know, not like tight next to each other.
Mhm.
right, right.
So what excites you both about doing something in that setting?
Well, what I was going to say earlier was that I was working at the Market Restaurant about 10 years ago, and every time my actor friends from Boston University would come up and visit, they'd be like, "Oh my God, this is a gorgeous set for this play, this play, this play. Waiting for Godot. You have the Annisquam River. You have the sunset. You have the ocean. What? You know, it's a vibrant place that artists who want to be in conversation with nature just can't ask for anything better. So we've been inspired by the wall
Yeah.
for a long time.
That wall. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
And also the last play we produced, Mauritius downtown, we had a set that cost us about $50 and it was rough. It was real low budget theater. And then we were like, actually, we could have a free set that's outside as long as we just put the stage in the right direction.
Yeah.
What they're looking at is more beautiful than anything we can build inside a theater. So we're really looking forward to having the beauty of Cape Ann and Gloucester be our backdrop.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that the people are so inspiring. Like
Yeah.
after Mauritius, like everyone was so generous and they were so excited. They were like, this is good. Everyone stayed after the show, and it was like more of a fun getting to know new people than like we did a play and you saw it. It was, I felt, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting too, because afterwards people were like, what's next?
Yeah.
And we were kind of like, well, we don't know. At that point, we had no idea of, you know, building a theater company that we wanted to keep producing plays year after year. And then when we finally came back with, well, we're thinking about a Shakespeare play, a lot of people were like, oh, Shakespeare. Well, it better be sexy, better be good,
Down to earth.
down to earth. And we laugh, but they're right.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I'll be the first one to admit, going to Shakespeare year after year after year when I was a kid, I didn't understand it a lot. And then I thought I was stupid because I didn't get it. And it wasn't until later that I realized, no, those were just bad plays. Those were bad productions of Shakespeare's plays, because when they're good, you understand the whole thing. You may not understand. I've never understood every single word, but if you leave a Shakespeare play and you don't know what happened, that's not on you. That's on the theater company. So if you come to our play and you don't get it, you get your money back.
So why Taming of the Shrew?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's a very well-known comedy, right? 10 Things I Hate About You. Mostly everyone's seen that. You know, you study it in 10th grade when you're learning other Shakespeare. So we feel like it's an accessible story, and we have a lot of experience with it from our graduate degree, et cetera. And specifically the fact that in Taming of the Shrew, it is made up of archetypes and a storyline that are traditionally Italian commedia dell'arte, which is a form that we're very trained in, and Shakespeare was meaning to make fun of it.
Yeah, so at the time that he wrote Taming of the Shrew, there were all these Italian commedia groups that were traveling the countryside, and they were doing these plays. They were doing the Taming of the Shrew. It was actually already a common play being done. And so he saw these, folks, these scrappy folks out in the countryside doing these plays. And he was like, oh my God, those are so funny. They're over the top. They're ridiculous. The archetypes, each character is kind of a cartoon.
Yeah.
I think cartoons are the closest things we have to commedia these
Yeah.
days. Because by making things larger than life and kind of grandiose, we somehow get to focus on things that are actually real.
Social commentary.
And by not taking it so seriously, the audience somehow takes it more seriously. So we're very trained in this commedia dell'arte form, as well as the actors in our class. And so we were really excited to dive into this piece, because we're like, if we set this piece in the turn of the century Gloucester, 1910 Gloucester,
before the big pandemic of the previous century,
right, just pre-pandemic, and we add this commedia dell'arte style, we really think that this is could be a really relevant, very funny piece.
Well, I think nothing like that ever happens in Lanes Cove. So that should work beautifully. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're pretty
we're
thrilled.
really excited about it. We're really excited about it.
So
how
Justin and Lily, sorry, go ahead, Heather.
Well, let's ask them how people can find out when the performances are happening and how to purchase tickets and all that.
Well, right now we're creating, and I'm sorry, this is a teeny bit of a segue, but we're creating a radio play over Zoom right now. No one's in the same space. It's completely socially distant. And that's going to be free, available via our website. And we're going to talk about Taming of the Shrew in that radio play experience. We're going to introduce it and explain that Taming of the Shrew is coming. Of course, this is going to be in August. Taming of the Shrew is going to be in August. So tickets probably won't be available until we have our special events permit, maybe July.
Yeah. But right now we're working on this radio play called Savannah, written by Dylan Waite and featuring Belle Aykroyd and Beatrice Miranda,
who are our classmates from ACT.
Yeah. Basically everybody's our classmate at this point. But we've designed a way with Sean Dorian, our sound engineer, to record a radio play using Zoom and an app called Cast that usually is used for podcasts. And we're kind of combining the two forms, and we're creating a radio play, and we're recording it like a film. And so it's going to sound like everybody's in the same room. And we're really excited about this form of theater because we're kind of getting rid of the screen. The screen is this cold surface that we've been so accustomed to for this past year. And so we're excited to get rid of the screen, and you can shut your eyes and just listen to this radio play, and you can use your imagination again, which is something that we love in theater. And I don't know, I can only speak for myself, but I haven't been able to use my imagination that much this year. So we're really excited about this show, and that's going to be available at the end of the month.
We feel like kind of the best way to, people's questions sometimes is, well, how are people going to find you if you don't have a prior season?
Yeah.
So this is sort of what Savannah is to help people get to know us. But of course, to contact us, our website is lanescoven.com. And we're also on Instagram at Lanes Coven Theater ER Co.
Beautiful.
Right.
Well, so let's make a point to chat again before August as the date.
Yes, definitely. We
Please.
would love to get on and show you in more detail once we have people in space, and there's movement, choreography, and all the things that are going into the piece, because there is a lot.
Hey, there's an outside chance that we could be on location doing that show.
That would be so great. Wouldn't that be so great to get together? we would love to arrange something like that between all of us, because we're in Gloucester. We're here. So, you know, like,
We're often in that backyard walking around, planning something up. People are like, who are these people?
Yeah, there's like there's like people who are renting the property, and we're like out there in the back, like measuring things and like flashlights. And they're like, who are you? Oh, we're putting a play on in your backyard.
Yeah.
And then instantly they're like, when? This week? Like, no, it's snowing, but.
Yeah.
And COVID.
Yeah. We'll hold off on the BYOB invites until summertime then.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
But let's follow up. I would like to follow up on the radio play too. So perhaps even sooner than later, we can talk about that. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe,
Yes, please.
and maybe depending on how in your platform, how you want to do it, we would love to have the writer and director on as well, because they can really speak to it as being in it. They're in it daily, and we kind of pop in and out because we're producing it. So
Let's do that.
Yeah, works for me. That sounds great.
Good. So that's the end of February. Everyone should be jumping to the lanescoven.com website and looking for Savannah, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
It's on the homepage.
Great. Well,
Thanks
thank you
for your
so
time.
much.
Yeah.
You're so welcome. Thank you guys
you
for
for
having
having
us
us.
on.
We'll
Let's stay in touch.
Let's do it.